Hello, welcome back to Only Pistols. Today we're having a look at a second version FAS 609. This is a single shot 177 HPA or PCP target pistol. Let's start by looking at the markings on it. On this side you've got the device for or branding for Massimo Machiavelli, the designer, the serial number, the F and a pentagram indicating for German market low pressure air pistol or low pressure air gun, FAS etched into the receiver, and made in Italy also etched into the receiver. And then on this side again, FAS etched into the receiver, AP609 for the model, caliber 4.5177. And then under the loading lever you've got the CN66, which is a type approval for the Italian market, denoting that it is a low pressure air pistol that doesn't require full licensing. Any other markings are on the air cylinder itself. Let's get it to focus. And then again you've got the FAS logo, air, maximum 200 bar, 2900 psi, and a production date of January 2009. So version 2, let's start with the rear sight. So on the version 1 it was very much like a 604 sight, and it stuck out a lot further, hence this gap in the rear in the grip. What do you get for the improved sight? Well, it sits a little bit higher. You've still got adjustment for windage and elevation, but you've also now got an adjustable rear sight gap. So just by adjusting that with a hex drive, you can alter the gap of the rear sight element, which is a really good thing and very easy to use. A very good sight picture, nice and wide, and that adjustable gap really helps. It does sit a little bit shorter further forwards, and probably a bit more robust than the original one, which tended to kind of look like it was hung out the back on a bit of a very thin piece of metal. So a little bit shorter there. Foresight, correspondingly a little bit taller, and again it's just a screwed on vertical wedge, nicely profiled, really nice sharp edges to it, so very crisp sight picture. Was available in different widths. I've only got this one with it. Staying at the muzzle, well, now what you've got, the original version had, let's get it back in focus, the original version just had a barrel weight, and what you've now got is an air stripper and barrel weight, so you can just see the end of the barrel itself, and it's a crowned rifled steel barrel, and then the little bit of gap, let's get to focus on a little bit of gap then to the air stripper, which is angled to just drive the air off, and then you've just got the pellet emerging out of the end of the barrel weight, air stripper into clean air. The barrel, rifled steel, and then set into the receiver with these two grub screws. On the receiver is another bit where it starts to get a bit different. The first obvious bit is, compared with the version 1 609, it's actually now got a proper trigger guard, with the original one literally just stopped there. The other difference is that this is now machined from solid billet. So the original version was a machined casting, whereas this now is machined from solid. So much crisper, much more precise, but basically the same shape, other than having a trigger guard. It's still got the regulator in it, and the mounting for the rear sight is obviously slightly different, but otherwise largely the same. Cocking lever is still a lever that works off the side there, and you've still got that really big identifiable lever to get hold of, and it's a really nice thing. It's very easy to use and a really visible part of the pistol. Dry fire switch is still the same, so again, cock the pistol and then you can engage and disengage the dry fire. So that's now in fire. Put it in to set its dry fire, just pull that out, as simple as that. Then you just can drop the loading lever and take up the slack on the first stage, and it fires. The trigger, fully adjustable as with the version 1. The difference now is the trigger shoe, which is now pretty much a straight blade, with the rubber band really there just to help locate your finger. So a very nice trigger to use. It's one of those ones where you see it being straight like that and you think, oh, how's that going to fit? But actually, as you can see, that fits really nicely, certainly for my hands. Adjustable for reach with this grub screw here, and adjustable for first and second stage with those two there. Yeah, and focus those two. And the over travel is that screw there at the front. So as we'd expect for a fully 10-meter target pistol, fully adjustable. You can also adjust the angle that this sits at, so the angle of the trigger shoe, by adjusting the grub screws here and here. So you can actually alter the angle of the trigger as it's presented to you. A really, really good trigger. Like I said, the dry fire is really good, really easy to use, and easy to set. No tools required. And a really good thing. So the air, now still a screw-on cylinder, but a slight change for the version 2, in that you now have this all-in-one plate and connection for the air cylinder, whereas before you had a plate which had barrel weights stuck off the front of it, or the option of a straight disc, and those all fitted over the charging attachment. The cylinder, nothing really special about that. It's an all aluminium cylinder, 200 bar, as I said, 200 bar fill, and it has now got a manometer on the end for air pressure. If you've got one of these, and this is a genuine FAS one, be careful. There is actually 200 bar in there, so this consistently underreads. So definitely be worth checking that you know what you're filling it with. It is a 200 bar fill. There is just under 200 bar actually in this cylinder. So I use the pressure gauge on the air cylinder that I've got for filling it, which I am quite happy is very accurate. So to charge the pistol, got an air tank full of air. So you literally just screw that on, and as you screw that on, you'll see, there you go, that's the air going in. You just saw the regulator pop up. So it's a regulated pistol. High pressure air is in there at 200 bar. That comes into a Belleville washer stacked regulator, and that's stainless steel, and that then feeds the lower pressure air through up to the knock open valve. How does that work? Well, cock the pistol, take it off of dry fire. You've then got the hammer. When you pull the trigger, the hammer goes forwards, knocks the valve open, which releases air up into the breech. Got a hollow pellet probe, in common with most of these pistols, and the air is directed up into the pellet probe and then directly into the back of the pellet. And in common with the version 1 of this pistol, you've got quite a tight loading port, so that's as far back as the pellet probe goes. There is enough room, and there's nice cutouts to drop the pellet in, but this loading lever really does kind of get in the way. But anyway, push that forwards, seats the pellet, seals the breech. Take up the first stage, it fires, and really nice. Because it's HPA PCP, absolutely no effort required in loading it. It is quite simply lift the lever, add pellet, and fire. The grip is a one-piece beech grip with adjustable palm shelf, now held on in two places rather than in the single position, which means you can actually take the grip off without disturbing your palm shelf. It's not adjustable for rake or angle, but it fits very nicely, and certainly I find it a very comfortable grip. I've got a medium-sized hand, so it fits me very nicely. In common with the version 1, there's not a lot of wood here, so you would want, if you need to kind of carve it about to make it fit you better, you need to be very careful here. And you can see there's literally 1 millimetre of wood, so it's a very nice grip, quite minimalist in its approach, but it is very, very good at supporting your hand and supporting the pistol in your hand. It's one of the grips I find that I can pick up and use without having to really think about holding on to the pistol. So that's its basic operation. Is it accurate? It's a 10-metre pistol from FAS, of course it is. I'm not that accurate, so I mean that's a very good group, and then that's me, not the pistol. I wondered if I could get it a bit better, so I tried another one, and to be honest, much the same result. I'm just not consistent enough. I just don't do enough practice. So that's using 7-grain R10s, my RWS R10. So you know that is plenty accurate enough if you want to use this for 10-metre target pistol shooting. So version 2 of the pistol, there were 1,350 of these made, according to FAS. So this one is just shy of that, so 4 short of the final version according to FAS. Now, I'm not entirely sure about this. So in theory, 1998 to 2008, 2008 for production. But I have seen reports of them being on sale in 2010 and slightly later. In theory, with the passing of Massimo Mancarelli, all production stopped with FAS of new pistols, and there was no further development. So FAS stopped making new pistol designs. They stopped making the air pistols. The designs that they did have were sold off, and I do wonder whether some of the stock of parts that were available were passed, either developed late, either built up later and sold, or alternatively got passed to Chiappa, who took on the 604. And I do wonder whether Chiappa produced some more FAS 609s after FAS themselves actually stopped production. I can't find an exact date on when the change was made from the first version to the second, but it seems to be quite late on. And as you've got less than 1,500 pistols, there's not a lot out there. So I would think probably looking at the first 1,000 odd that were produced as the version 1, and then a later batch that were the version 2 with the milled from solid receiver. The actual operation of the pistol itself is exactly the same. The only other thing to note is when I picked this one up, I didn't have a filling adapter, and fortunately Best Fittings from the UK still hold them and still have them in stock. So if you need one, Best Fittings are the people to go to. Apparently also a Benelli kite will also fit there. The Benelli kite was in a large part developed from this design. So the filling adapter is the same as are the cylinders. So there you go. A wonderful, lovely to use, very accurate single shot high pressure air PCP pistol. Really just didn't get produced in the numbers. FAS were absolutely dedicated to quality, and there's a lot of hand finishing going into these pistols, and I think they just weren't producing them in the sufficient numbers, and I think they were also a little bit late to the HPA PCP party. So I think by the time that people really understood how good they were, there weren't enough of them around, and also Steyr, Finework Bow, Marini, and a load of others were in there with much bigger volumes of pistols and better support to teams using them or individual shooters using them. So there you go, the FAS 609, end of an era, and still an absolutely beautiful pistol. If you can get one, do. They are repairable, they're quite easy to work on, it's just O-rings. If you can get to shoot one, do. It's a lovely pistol to shoot. It's simple, it's light, it's beautifully balanced. The grip, the trigger, the sights, it really is the complete package. So if you've liked this, then please like, share, subscribe, tell other people about it, hit the bell icon, do all the YouTubey stuff. And otherwise, I'll see you again soon with another pistol. Thanks very much. Bye.